So how many people, can you raise your hand if you've been in a circle before? Okay, most people. Perfect. You haven't? Oh, wow. Welcome. Make sure you sign in. So this is a very large circle. We probably will only get through like 1 or 2 questions, maybe 3 if we're lucky. So in a large circle like this, I am going to ask to keep your responses like with a minute and a half, just because we want everybody's participation. Just a reminder of the circle, this is a talking piece. This is near and dear to my heart. It is an apple my dad gave me. It's really heavy, so although from far it doesn't look like it's heavy, but it is. And it used to have a little leaf, but over the years it's fell off. But the reason why I picked this talking piece is because this topic is very heavy, talking about race. Some people are going to share some personal things, so this is a confidential circle. I need everybody to put their phone away, so we're actively engaged in the conversation. And we're actively listening to what everybody's saying. So if you can take those, even though I know they're not in your ear, if you can take those off, so we know that we're all listening. Okay? Couple things is we're not going to yuck anybody's yum. If somebody's telling you about their personal experience, we're not going to put them down. We're going to encourage each other. Another thing I need everybody to do is make sure that we are actively listening, okay, to what everybody is saying. So we're just going to start just to open up, get to know everybody first. Just your name, your grade, and something about you that everybody here won't know based on, right? We naturally, our brains look at somebody and like, oh, we categorize, we put you in kind of like a box, right? Based on our experiences, but we want you to tell us something about you. If anything, your favorite color, your favorite food, you can keep it very basic if you want, okay? So my name is Ms. Bakamaya. I'm the assistant principal for the junior class. Something about me that people don't know is that I am a landlord. Don't hate me, because we don't always have the best reputation. But it's something that I am passionate about. I do on the weekends, after school. So if you're interested in learning about being a landlord, owning property, please let me know. We're going to go this way.
I'm a Miles. I teach 10th grade English. Something that my students probably know, but not everyone knows. I love TV and movies. They're like my favorite things in the world. Just go home on the weekend and just like binge watch everything I can, especially Game of Thrones, which is coming up really soon, and I'm super excited about it.
And we snapped up, sorry, for encouragement.
My name is Zachary. I'm a 10th grader, and my siblings forced me to watch this TV.
Think purple.
My name is Lord. I'm in 10th grade, and I like Boston.
You like what? Boston.
My name is Logan. I'm in 10th grade.
Sweet.
Like sweet.
I
I like
do.
sweet.
I like sweet. No. That'd be cool. What's your favorite color? Food. Purple. So let's refrain from the comments so everybody can get options to talk, okay?
My name is Angela. I'm in 10th grade, and my favorite color is white.
Hi, I'm Miss Nugent. I'm a sophomore at Siena College. I'm doing an observation maybe here. Hi. And my favorite color is pink.
Hi, I'm Miss Curtis. I'm a social worker Operation Graduation Program, and I work with 10th graders and seniors this year. And an interesting fact about me is that I don't have any full brothers or sisters, but I have 2 stepbrothers, 2 stepsisters, a half sister, and then a half brother who was once my sister.
Wow.
That was a lot of information. Yeah. I wanted to go in on that one. My name's Michaela. I'm a senior, and I'm from Washington State.
My name's Alexis. I'm in 10th grade.
My name's Deasia. I'm a senior, and my favorite color is purple, and I like to sing.
I'm Ms. Schaefer. Some of you might know me from the Great Mount Pleasant. I worked here, then I worked there, now I work back here. Something that you might not know about me is that I went to college in France.
My name's Lydia. I'm in 10th grade, and my favorite color is yellow.
My name is Jordan. I'm in 10th grade, and my favorite color is blue.
Hi, my name is Danielle. Y'all can call me Danny. And one thing y'all don't know about me is that I'm a poet.
My name is Lizzie. I'm a sophomore, and one thing you don't know about me is I like to go on YouTube and watch poetry. So.
My name is Angelina. I'm in 10th grade, and my favorite color is blue.
Blue.
I forgot what heavy was. My name is Abimili. My nickname is Obi. I'm a 10th grader, and I don't know.
What's your favorite food? You always said that.
Oh, that's true. And I've never tried seafood.
My name is Anya. I don't like my name. Don't call me by my name. In 10th grade.
What's your name?
I don't know.
My name's Paul. I'm in 10th grade. My favorite color is pink.
My name's Alan. I'm in 10th grade and I was born in Miami.
My name's Anthony. You can call me Ant. I'm in 10th grade, and I was born in Queens.
My name is Mithael. I'm in 10th grade, and my favorite color is blue.
My name is Josara. You can call me Rising. My favorite color is yellow.
Your name's great, and something about you is your favorite food. Ooh, that's popular. We're gonna go with that. Don't throw it right. So heavy. Perfect. All right, so our topic today is talking about race. The benefits of talking about it is because racism is an issue in America. A lot of people like to not talk about it. Some people feel uncomfortable talking about it, but we are going to talk about it because it happens every day where people don't feel belong. People make comments. People feel judged based off of their race, and the systematic or systemic issues in our criminal justice system, our educational system, our healthcare system, just every system possible, there's racism, right? So what we're here today is kind of talk about how we have engaged in it, and what work can we do to fight racism, individually or as a unified community, okay? So we might not get to all of that, but there are resources. We have many clubs here. There's the Roots Club, there's Team Taxi. There are many people in the building that can support you if you would like to talk more about it, because with such a large group, we might not be able to get to our last question. So please stay after if you need just more guidance or have additional questions, okay? All right, so our next question will be, name one recent situation where your skin color or gender or both had an impact on you and how maybe you dealt with that. So for me, it could be recent or happened a while ago. For me, I remember And I remember there was an incident in gym class when I was changing. There was girls making comments about like my hair and just how I look. And it was probably just like a 1 minute conversation, but it happened often. So at this point it probably would have been a DACA, like a bullying. But they didn't have that back then. And it's something that happened in ninth grade. It's something that affected me throughout my life, where I felt like very subconscious about how I looked, how I was different from people that didn't look like me. So that's something that one, one of those couple conversations that I had a lifetime impact on me. So it keeps me mindful of what I say to other people and how that can impact. But maybe very, very subconscious throughout my life. Because of that incident, I did lose like tons of weight and was very depressed from it. So I had to like overcome that and get out of that mindset. But so discrimination is a huge issue. We don't, like when these things happen to us, we don't realize the lifelong effects of them. But that was an incident that I had that I wanted to share. And you don't have to get as personal. If there was just something like somebody said to you that really just made you feel some type of way, you can say that. Or if it's just something happened to somebody else that you want to share and how you handle that. You can talk about that. And we'll go.
So, I've had somebody say to me, oh, you speak very well. So I don't even know how to take that. Because I was just speaking my mind. It's just something that happened. I couldn't be responsible.
Yeah, and sometimes we're so shocked from people's responses, we're like, what? So did everybody hear what she said? All right, we're going to stop.
Okay, so I can't really remember a specific point where my skin color, like, someone outwardly, like, said something about it or said anything mean about it, but, like, it did get me, like, there was, like, a thing that happened, there was a circle up, remember? Where that was the first circle up I ever went to, so it sort of opened my eyes to, the sort of stuff that could happen here. It didn't really surprise me, but it didn't really affect me in a negative way, but it did open my eyes to see, like, there's some people who think this way, and, I should investigate why they think this way, or why they believe that kind of stuff. So, it kind of affected me, not sort of in a negative way, maybe in a positive way, caused me to see differently, perhaps.
Different perspective.
Yeah.
One time I was out at the mall with my grandfather, and he's old, like he can't walk, and I was pushing him in the wheelchair, and then he dropped his wallet, and so I had to stop and pick it all up. And some guy was behind me, and then he caught an attitude. I guess I was taking too long, and he was like, "This is why I can't stand you people." And then I was like, "What do you mean by you people?" And he was like, "People of color." And I just didn't know what to say because I was like 12, and I didn't know what to say about it. Yeah.
There hasn't really been a situation in my life where somebody like judged me on my skin color or my ethnicity.
Heavy. Be careful.
I'm mixed. I don't say it a lot, but I am. But I just say I'm black. But people don't know how to take that, or I guess my skin color is lighter than it's supposed to be. So they treat me as if I am black because I say I'm black. So it's just. They also say I'm really skinny for my color, and that because I'm very proper in the way I speak, that shouldn't happen personally. Just a lot of white adults say that to me, and that I shouldn't speak the way I do, or like use big words, or eat more.
So putting you in a box.
I don't know about y'all, but I'm Puerto Rican, born and raised in Puerto Rico, and I hate when, like, people like stereotype Puerto Ricans. I feel like they either say, "Oh, Puerto Ricans are crazy," or they're loud. Like, not all the people are the same. And I also get said like, I get called a spick a lot. It's like it doesn't really bother me. It's like, because Puerto Ricans are Native American, Spanian. Like we got some black and white in our blood. So it's like I'm just like everybody. So it's like it doesn't really bother me no type of way.
The last time I dealt with racism was I had a friend and we were like really close, and we were talking one day about a situation. I forgot what it was, but oh yeah, we were talking about like how our parents curse. My mom doesn't usually curse, but there was one time where my mom said, "You guys treat me like the hard R," and I brought it up to her, and she said, "Well, you are the hard R," and I was like, "No, I'm not." And she's not African American, but she's black skinned. And I don't know, she started asking people like, "Oh, how would you feel if I said this to you?" And people like, "Oh, I wouldn't care," but race is really important to me and it's part of my identity, and I feel like there's different things that happen for different people, and something that can affect me can't affect you, so yeah.
Being mindful.
Yeah. Alright, so I grew up in the deep south. Like I grew up in South Carolina. We were the first to secede from the nation, whatever. But so I was a kid. I was like 8 or 9. I dealt with a lot of racism just because I lived in South Carolina, especially in that little white, predominantly white neighborhood or whatever. So me and my dad, he owns like a ranch style house. A ranch style house is basically like it's a first floor house with just no stairs. It's a ranch style house. And we had animals and stuff, you know, very typical. Not typical because that's kind of saying anyway, whatever. So we had these white folks that lived behind us, and they had like a big old Confederate flag on their house and like a Confederate flag on their truck. They had like a little white truck, whatever. They had a Confederate flag on their truck, so they would like, because we was the only black people that lived on that street, so they would do stuff to like piss my father off. And my dad was like, he's very old, he's about to be 72 like in like 16 days, so they would just do stuff to tick us off and just like, you know, treat us like we were second-class citizens. And they would get away with it too because it was like, it's a predominantly white neighborhood, predominantly white, you know, stuff. So y'all get what I'm trying to say.
I don't really have anything to say. I've never really dealt with anything like that. I just like do hate racist people. I've heard a lot of stories about stuff, and I just never liked it, but nothing ever happened to me. Kind of like what Obi was saying. Like they really like a lot of people stereotype Puerto Ricans. You know, like oh they're loud, they're like doing they're crazy, they're this and that. So like I got told that a lot, and it's kind of like people are like oh like you're skinny for a Puerto Rican because you know like most Puerto Ricans like are like thick and stuff, and I used to just like call me thick a lot.
Can you introduce yourself to the
Pretty sure you're Sarah.
Okay.
Don't let my dad do it.
Yeah. Thank you, though. I like that compliment. Hey, I'm Mr. Hatch. What was the question again? You know? What was it?
Go to introduce yourself.
Oh, hi, I'm Mr. Hatch. I teach dance at the school here.
And then a situation where you or somebody else was discriminated against.
Absolutely. I have, me personally, I am gay, and that is a big discrimination that I've dealt with in my life since I was a kid. Personally, just recently, I have an adopted daughter that is biracial, and people want to come up in the grocery store and touch her hair all the time.
I wish somebody would say that.
And I never knew about that because I was a white guy that, you know, I had just this straight white hair, and I always thought, you know, but like then they come up and they're like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, get your hands off. Like I put a lot of work into that every night. You know what I mean? Like, and she's not a toy. So, yeah, we had to have that conversation. I've had that conversation with all my classes with all my girls because I'm like, I need some help, you know. So yes, I deal with that all the time, and plus, I deal with it here all the time with the students and my kids that I love. It just happens. So yeah, that's where I'm at. So, you don't have to share. I'll start right here.
I think the that I've, kind of experienced as a teacher in Schenectady, that sometimes I want to try to be an advocate, and so something that recently happened in the beginning of this school year is there was a student that was in Mount Pleasant, because that's where I came from, as a lot of you guys know, and that student was having some trouble and struggling and was staying for help, which was a really positive thing. And the student is black, and the student was staying in a certain teacher's room, and that teacher was like, can you like stay in here so that I can step out, because like I wouldn't want to like leave him alone in here. And for a second, I was like really taken aback, and I wasn't sure, how the teacher meant it, and to this day, like I'm not really sure, but I said to my coworker, I said after it happened, of course, not in front of the student, but I said, when you said that, kind of made me think like, why were you saying that? And I just think you should be careful, a little bit more careful about kind of how you word things, because that could be really misinterpreted. Like, did you mean that because the student is black and he's a troubled kid, and like you didn't want him to take something, or like it just came off wrong to me. And so I just kind of said, and I felt comfortable saying that because it's someone that I work with. So I just said it quietly afterwards. But I just think we have to be careful about like the word choice that we use. And I think that, that's something that I want to work towards, especially, as a white person. I want to be part of the solution and not the problem.
I had a little cousin who went here. Her name's Lily. I'm pretty sure most of you guys know her. And she was telling me about this white girl who went here. And the white girl happened to walk in the bathroom while me and Lily was there. And she was telling me that she was calling me racist, and she was telling me, I don't like you because you're black. And I asked her about it, and she said, I never said any of that. Why she bumped me walking out the bathroom? And I'm like, why you bump me? I'm not gonna lie. I slapped her in the back of her neck. And she went and told my principal, but I got to my principal before her, and I didn't get in trouble. And she was like, I bumped you because you're black. I'm like, whose kid are you? But I did, because why would you bump me, like, because I'm black? Like, who's good with you?
And that, not condoning any violence.
Yes,
But
I didn't even want to say
that is learned, so racism is learned behavior, and it starts at a young age. So my kids are 5 and 7, and little things are happening to them in their school. And I do have kids, 5 and 7.
Our kids are so cute.
But it's learned behavior. Kids don't come out of the uterus like, hey, I'm racist, right? So it's stuff that's learned.
parents talk.
I was in Kmart when I was little with my mother and my sister. I was like 8, and we lived in Cortland, and that's next to Syracuse. It's a real
That's a white
town, and it's all a bunch of white people. And I was using the bathroom, and I came out, and there was these 2 older girls, and they were laughing at me. So immediately I was like, what's funny? And they were like, your hair. And I was like, what about my hair? And they're like, it's nappy. And I was like, okay, and like it's curls. You don't have curls. Your hair's straight. So I went to my mother, and my mother is white. So they were like, they used the N-word on her, and it was like, you shouldn't be having kids with. And then my mom started bugging on them, and then they got real bad. So it was like, it was long story.
Yeah. I have biracial siblings, and I have people that'll say to me, like, why do you have biracial siblings? And it's like, just because my siblings are biracial, if they walk with me, doesn't mean that you have to call me out. Like, everybody, you could walk around with someone of a color, and people will be like, why are you hanging out with that white person? So, like, I feel like racism runs both ways. It's not just towards, like, one specific race, because people say stuff to white people too.
So, as a white person that has been with unpacking the privilege and undoing the learned behavior of racism, I've had a lot of closed-minded white people in my life assume that I feel hate toward others that aren't white just because I am white, and having to have that conversation that I'm not with you. Just don't assume based on the way that I
So I experienced a lot of like microaggressions without realizing they were microaggressions. I was feeling like that.
I have a definition. It is a statement or incident regarded to a indirect or unintentional discrimination against members of a marginalized group. So little comments, microaggressions.
Like you speak well, touching my hair, like things like that. But I think when I was most aware that I like of my race, my family and I, for years we volunteered after Hurricane Katrina. We would go down south and we would volunteer in New Orleans. So we made a pit stop in Tennessee, which wasn't the best life choice. But my father and I walked in first to the gas station, and the owner of the gas station put a shotgun on the counter and told us that we weren't allowed to buy gas. So we went back to our car, and my mom, who is lighter than my father, and I was able to go in and purchase gas for our car. But that was when I was like, okay, like, not against this anymore. I was very, very, very aware that, because in the North, it's not, racism is not blatant for the most part, in my perspective. I don't know how everyone else experiences it, but going down south, I was like, okay, so this is how this is.
Just realizing how, say, in the school system, certain higher positions, like specifically like superintendents or principals that are white would treat parents of color that show up and they make themselves known within the school. It's always a shock. It's always, and then, like I remember this one story I was listening to during the concert original, and one of my friends was a kid. Her father's name is Kofi, and so whatever. His father's name is Kofi. When he's a kid, and he's very well known, because it's just in his nature to I don't know. We come from ACS where it's very, it's like a community. There's a level of respect. So anyways, he shows up as a kid to talk about the problem to the superintendent, and just his tone when talking to the father is it's, I guess, kind of like treating him as any other parent or whatever. So then when Kofi had to I guess himself and talk to the superintendent, he made the superintendent very emotional, and he had called in somebody else, a person of color, black man, in as a witness, so that this superintendent can't say, oh, he came off aggressive or whatever. He was the kid. And then I want to point that out. And then also I just seen a video where this girls, it was like, I'm Dominican, not black.
Oh.
I don't understand.
So you can talk about the African diaspora. Yeah.
There's a lot that I can talk about, but I think one that really stands out was one time I got kicked out of a Walmart with my mom for literally no reason. It was almost closing time and we needed a few things. And there was just one lady, there was barely any people. So she let us in. She was at the door and she's like, oh, we close in a few minutes, just so you know. And we're like, okay. So we're gonna go check out, and the same lady's over at the counter. And I'm talking Spanish with my mom because she doesn't really know any English, and I'm translating to her lady. She's like, oh, it's this amount of money. And then I tell her. And then she looks at us like with a dirty face, and she's like, can you please speak English? And then I look at her and I'm like, she doesn't speak English. And she's like, well I don't really understand. Can you speak English? Like, can you tell me what she's saying? And I'm like, well, you don't really need to know what she's saying. We just need to can we just buy this? And she's like, well, I don't think it's fair. She started going off on a ransom, and I was looking at my mom, and I'm like, what? I was like 10. And she was like, well, if you're not going to listen to me or whatever, she asked me to do something. She's like, oh, well, I'm going to call the police if you don't get out of here. She's like, you're not allowed here ever again. Please don't come back. For literally no reason. And she did get upset because I did give her attitude and I did curse her out because I was really upset of the fact that she
Like, she's white, but she not like mayonnaise white. I mean, but like, it's like when I go out, like, me and her, we like to go to like the diner that we always used to eat at, but we don't eat at it that much. Like, when we went, last time we had went, like when I had opened the door for this old lady, because you know I'm respectful. Like if I see an old person like struggling to carry their groceries, I'm gonna help them. So I open the door for this old lady, and she just looks. She gives me a dirty look, and I'm just like,
Oh, like, close the door on her.
like all right. And then I had told my mom, and she said like ever since I was a baby, like we've always been looked at like weird because like she's white and like I'm mixed. You feel me? Like just going out knowing that like you're not the same color as people, and they're gonna look at you different just because you were made by like two people that's not the same race. You feel me? So it's just little stuff like that. Nobody has ever.
I used to live in Brownsville, in Brooklyn, and there was a point in time where I was walking, and there was cops, and they stereotyped me for a drug dealer, whatever, and they put me in handcuffs, and then like the sergeant he was like, oh, come now, I want you for myself, so he handcuffed me and like really tight. He handcuffed me, like my wrist, like really tight, and my hand, and then put me in a cop car, put me downtown, whatever. And it was like he paid like just because I was whatever, light skin and black, whatever, like he was trying to say I was a drug dealer and I had weed and all this other stuff. So yeah.
When I was on the bus, like on the way home, so it was me, my friend, the boy, and there was the other person I considered a friend at the time, but she was white, and she always said the N word, and it was just really like triggering. So I would tell her like, even at a young age, I was always like, I don't like you saying that and stuff like that. And one time she was like, oh well, my people could enslave your people at any time again. My people, like it was just stuff like that. It was really, and then at the time, I didn't know how to handle it. Like right now, I probably would have like went off. But like I was just silent, and then my friend was just so like upset. So like looking back, maybe I could have handled that better, so I was just saying nothing because I was in the moment. Like, what do I say? So like looking back, it's just. I did a lot of moments I can think of, but for some reason I'm thinking about when I was this was I think last year at college. I went to NYU, and we were having to put together a play about women's suffrage because it was about like 100 years. But me and my best friend Liz, she's Mexican, we were the only people of color, and we kept saying like, well, it is 100 years, but it's 100 years for white women. It's not 100 years for all other women of color. And so certain things just kept happening, like little microaggressions, until this one point where the director, she's a white woman, she said, I really want to have like the spoken word part, I really want the beat to be like interesting, and she started Googling like Eminem beats, and I was like, okay, this is getting too much. So I went to the other assistant director, he was really great. I said, hey, I really feel like this is cultural appropriation, which is where, one culture takes another and said basically gets kind of power off of it. And he was like, yeah, no, I completely agree with you, I'm going to go talk to her. 5 minutes after he talks to her, she comes over to me, and she's like, cultural appropriation, you think it's cultural appropriation? Like, I did Romeo and Juliet with hip-hop music, was that cultural appropriation? She just starts like listing all these things. I was like, yeah. I'm like, I think it was, and I think it's harmful to other people because you're using like this music that was created. And I started giving her like a mini history lesson on how hip-hop came to be and how it came to be like this part of a way for black people to vent and kind of deal with a lot of the stuff they were going through. And she just starts going, well, I'm a woman, so I know what oppression is, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I was like, yes, like, you do. And then, like, the other assistant director's like, I can talk to you. Like, I don't know why you went to Oriana. Like, you can talk to me. But she just kept, like, like coming at me and talking about all these other things. I said, well, guess, like, she's like, I'm a feminist and I'm intersectional, and that word gets really thrown around a lot because intersectional is basically this idea that you could be more than one thing. So, like, there's black women, and that's an interesting place to be in society. And she just keeps yelling at me to the point where she starts crying, and she keeps saying, like, you're being divisive, you're creating a rift between us. And then, this is the part that I think really gets me mad, is that these other people who are around are, Oriana, why are you making her cry? Like, and they're all starting to be like, Oriana, you're making her so upset. And she said, I've been working really hard to make this really diverse. I don't know why you're making this so hard. She said, you know, we added some things about, like, black people during this time. And I was like, well, that's not, like, true inclusivity. Like, if you're just adding in some people, she's like, because black men already have the right to vote, but we're not talking about that. I was like, well, they didn't actually, like, again, going back to history, I'm like, black men weren't actually able to vote. Even though they were given, like, legal right, they weren't actually able to go up to a voting booth. And she's like, well, we had a black president before. I said, before what? Before a white woman? And she's like, I didn't say that. And I was like, oh my God. And luckily by then I had, like, a support system. I had, like, a lot of people that were already in my corner. But it was really hard for me to kind of deal with that, because it's like, when you want to say something, you start challenging people, they get very uncomfortable. And it's really hard to sometimes speak up for yourself and speak up for other people. But I think after not at that moment, I really want to take back everything I said. But now, like, after I've had time, I'm still happy I said something, and challenging is hard.
When I was in fifth grade, they gave us a test that black people had to take before voting. One of the last questions was like, how many bubbles makes up a bar of soap?
What?
That was it was basically
Something impossible.
How many bubbles make up a bar?
If you Google it, you can see, like, the old test that they used to give to black people to vote, and it was something ridiculous like that. It was like, if you were trying to take away, like, cow meat, what was the best way to produce it? Or
How
like,
many
when
bubbles?
was specifically, how many people first came over on the mate? It was crazy things.
Like nobody
Nobody had any. Like,
Oh, I saw something on Facebook yesterday that I liked. I got the picture saved. I don't know, it just spoke out to me. It's like, I don't know, it's like, I want to see.
What is it?
What are you looking at? We all did it long. Wait, I want to too.
be careful with her phone.
Don't scroll.
No, it's
don't
that's
swipe.
very
Don't swipe.
metaphoric and symbolic.
So I really appreciate those sharing your personal,
Here you go.
Hey, yo.
well, you can explain it.
It's symbolic.
It's symbolic. So I really appreciate those of you sharing your personal stories, because a lot of people don't know everybody here. And what I feel like a lot of people when doing the circles, especially I know last year we had a circle about this too, was that how do you respond?
Yeah. It's also Black Lives Matter.
Go ahead. You want to read your
Yeah, I know it. But I'm sick and I'm kind of mucusy, so if I don't.
Let me just finish this last thing and you can read it.
Talk about it, but it's like metaphoric of almost like it is from black people, like what we now think of American community, like on the backs of slaves, through our production, through our creation, like, and it goes more into like the future of like culture and how people take like black culture, but it's a lot.
That's interesting. Gave birth
So
to
I
a
just
bear,
wanted
you get treated this
to
way.
challenge you, and I want you to think about your responses, and when somebody does say something that is a microaggression or makes you feel some type of way, how can we say it in a way that will challenge the other person without violence? Because violence is not the answer. And really get people thinking that you are not in a box, that you are your own individual person that has have a Team TAC-D club that Lizzie's involved. Who else is involved?
And hockey.
Okay. We have a future educators for tomorrow. If you're interested in the educational system, we need more people of color in education. And that doesn't mean just being a teacher. There's so many aspects of education. We also have the Roots Club. How many people are in the Roots Club? Okay. So there are many different activities, organizations within the school, out of the school, if you want to do more social justice and advocacy for this topic. Okay. So you have your poem.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Listen, bear with me. I'm sick. If I sound weird, I'm sick. All right. So it's untitled, and basically what it's saying is like it's basically what you just.
Don't tell Lou.
All right. All right. I hope your mama got your picture, little prince. Life is too short, little prince. I'm only saying this because you my little prince. My role in this world is complacent. Life is like a matrix. It is what you make it, and I can't take it. If this was my world, I make Stevie Wonder want to see me. If this world was mine, he could watch TV. My president is black. Please believe me. Fuck the police. Word to Jeezy. On the block, that's a new plantation. All the minors on probation. I reached a point where your teachers can't teach me nothing. Young black activists in the making. Imagine a world where black kings didn't have papers. Modern day slavery, racist. Get it? Who are y'all to tell me I can't make it? Y'all mad because I'm young, black, and I'm educated? And my young mind can't be manipulated because it's focused on a higher cause? And who you think gonna love you? All these single mothers stressing when the rent due? But bottled up emotions and the pain, it's past due. Crying because they son lay down on the pavement, it's amazing because the government loves seeing our little brown faces, ain't it crazy? How does your free world relate to slavery? Can you blame me? My last generation fought the police, and I'm walking in their same shoes. Subliminal. Yes, it's spiteful. Blacks losing their lives in the streets, it's frightful. We the brand new slaves, the way we be wilding with our chains, yeah, it's crazy. The way we competing with each other instead of standing as one nation. It's a dog-eat-dog world that needed some communication and reiteration, and possibly one day a standing ovation. Kind of literal because I'm wearing a chain, so it's like I'm modeling with my chain, but that's kind of symbolic because I feel like a lot of these young people, counting myself, it's just like we are so caught up in who got the best Jordans, who in this gang, who Crip, who Blood, who this, who that, who got breach, who got this, and it's more of a us. It's not, we're not united as we should have been, because if you look back, everything that was the gangs we got now, they was made of unite. They were united at one point. They was never beefing to the point where we're beefing, and it's not just about racism. We're racist, and it's called colorism. We're between ourselves. We got that between ourselves, and I feel like once we alleviate that between ourselves, we can work more collectively as a unity, as a unit to try to rid America of racism.
Could you tell more about, like, for people who don't know what colorism is?
Colorism is, you light skin, right? He light skin, he think he this, he that. I'm dark. I don't want to, it's kind of weird, okay. So, alright, so boom. Y'all walk in the store. Y'all, Vontae and Liz, y'all going in the store. Both y'all, side by side, going to the store. Y'all going to, say the OC. Y'all going to the OC, because everybody know what the OC is. So y'all want a bag of blue Skittles, but the OC looking at y'all like, listen, I'm kind of scared. It's these two black kids in my store. What are they going to do? They going to try to rob me? He's looking at you more like a threat because you're darker than him. So he's like, listen. He's kind of viewing you the house slave, you the outside slave because you're darker. And so y'all get treated different because you're lighter and she's darker. Basically, that's what colorism is.
You're basically closer to white than she is.
Right. You're welcome. You're more white than she is, yeah.
Right. So, like, just to kind of it's basically like when we think of things like a spectrum. So spectrum is like the most power and privilege you have white over here, but then the darker you are, the more likely you are to have oppression, and that includes all people of color, right? So that's why when we think about police brutality, who does that happen most to?
Dark skin.
Dark, black, because it's basically the complete opposite of white. And that's why as you get closer to white, you also, like, I have light skin privilege. So that, like, I can walk through a store and maybe someone's less likely to think that I was doing something bad because I wasn't as dark as someone else.
Right.
So, like, my dad, he's a lot darker than me, and he's got stopped in Walmart so many times, I cannot even tell you. Like, where's your receipt? That's a fact.
Walmart.
When me and my mom specifically is a lot lighter than me. When my mom and I are walking through Walmart, they don't ask questions. So it's like I'm more acceptable. I say like this acceptability black, like, oh, you're black, but you're okay. And so like that's why basically colorism is a big thing. And like what Danny say, like a lot of people are like, oh, you light skin, dark skin, and it needs to start to be like, well, we're black. We need to like love ourselves and our community first and foremost. That's just my speech for the day.
So there's so much information, like historical context that I challenge you to research and read about, because some of this might be like, what are they talking about? We're not crazy. It's called institutional racism. And so I have tons of books in my office, anyone that I would be willing to share if you were interested. I know Team Taxi, we're doing a book study called Colony and a Nation by Chris Hayes. And then also Dear Martin will be coming out, which is an awesome book. I haven't read it yet, but
It's so good. So basically think like, hey, you give only like, whoa. I like the ending. What? Because no spoilers, no spoilers. But Dear Martin is going to be kind of like next door, like book talks, and we're going to see if we can have the author come and kind of talk to us about how she came up. Nick Stone's so dope, y'all. And then I'm running a social justice course in English next year too, so if that's also something that you're interested in, then be a lookout for that on your schedule.
Oh. All right, so we don't have time for our last question, so I will just read it and then you can kind of talk amongst yourselves. But we have racism, right? Racism is an issue. What are some ways that we can address it on a smaller scale, like within our school, like within our community? What can you commit to when it comes to race issues? And how can we continue this conversation talking about race and solving these issues with our community? Okay, so if you can kind of share with people around you, and I'll kind of walk around. Also, we're going to do Black History Month celebration next year.
Oh,
Y'all should highlight on the committee, so we'll have it next year, okay? So talk about that, we have about 5 minutes, okay?
Because he's scared to introduce her to my dad because my older sister's boyfriend. Yeah. But like, cause like my older sister's boyfriend is like Dory. It took her like mad while to like introduce to my dad. She was like scared.
What's something that you did or like to chat about what my family
Like, listen.
So it's something, right, you could do, right, is read more about it, right? Because this is such a complex so little, even fictional books, like give you some type of idea of like what's going on and how some people history have addressed it. And you can say like, oh, you know what, I like what this person did, I didn't like what this person did. Honestly, it takes a lot of different things to actually make it, right? So you can read about it. I personally, I don't like watching it or seeing it happen.
Because I had a issue, it was like 30 minutes early, so my mom was trying to get and she was like, oh, you're gonna have to wait till your appointment. My mom was like, why do I have to wait? It's only 30 minutes. And she was really like, oh, that's fun. I was like, where's now this mom can stop? Like, I was just like, yes, and then I'm like, people were just looking at me. I was just like, then I felt so embarrassed because I was like, first, I was like, first of all, it was not that serious because like it was just some headphones. Like I didn't just wait. And secondly, I felt like the need to apologize to the lady because I felt so embarrassed and I felt like I was enforcing a stereotype. Every time I got into an argument, the whole entire time at the mall, every time I tried to drop it, she would bring it right back up. And then she was like, "Oh, well, you're not gonna talk to me? Why are you mad?" I'm just like, obviously I'll be mad if you just got really just embarrassed me like that. She was just, it was a pair of headphones. I was like, I can just go buy a pair of headphones.
My mom was like that too. Like she would want to come to school and like. All right, come back.
I got a question for y'all.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Excuse me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Danielle has a question.
Okay, I got a question for y'all, right?
My living environment.
Living environment, what region, Tom?
Good job. She has a question.
All right, I got a question for y'all, right? So,
All right, so if we were saying like, oh, if your friend that's black, like if she calls me the N-word, and then I go, I'm like, hang out with my white friend, they call me that, and then I get offended because my white friend called me that, but then you have to think at the same time, like my black friend just called me that, and it's still the same word, still mean the same thing. So you wanted to hear what like you guys had to say
so basically,
about it.
how you gonna get mad for getting called a
Because
nigger?
that word was
I didn't even
like,
finish.
It was made by white people to put us under, but like when we say it to each other, we're like greeting each other as friends.
Wait, with a hard ER.
Like,
with the A, it still means the same thing.
I've never been approached like.
I think the problem is, right, that this is a really deep conversation because we're 2 minutes left of a conversation, but there are multiple books out about this because I think that it is important to keep in mind your personal like feelings towards it, but I will also point out that there have been people who make specific choices in hip hop, and it's this word in linguistics called cultural inversion. And what it means is that there are words like gay, there's words like queer, there are other words that have been taken that had something hateful, and those people within those community were like, no, I'm going to take it away from you and I'm going to take this power. Now, some people think that's not possible with this word, and they may be right. But the difference that I'm going to say is the power dynamic that happens, right? So two black people and a black person and a white person, that's a different power dynamic.
But it's still equal.
So it's not.
I feel like you should put that word should be used at all.
When he said the ER and the A are the same thing, when you say going right and you say gonna, isn't that the same thing?
That's completely different, bro.
It's the same thing.
It's the same word.
But those are two different languages.
I've never been approached on no like, what's up, my nigger? Like, it's never been on no hard ER type shit, so I wouldn't really know.
Because like I said, I think that's something that they have to decide for themselves. Because at the end of the day, like, you're right, you are a part of this culture. Like, this culture is your culture. It is not their culture. It's not their culture. So to be using that, and that's fine that you don't like it. Ms. A don't like it, and that's cool. And I love her. Like, I think it's mindful for people to know how you stand on that, and like your black friends specifically should respect that, but also respect them when they're talking to maybe other people. That they do, there is like logic, there's reasons, there's academics who have written papers on this, like they still also have a valid reason. And I also think that we start determining language and being like, well, your language is wrong, like that gets into a really gray area when it comes to Ebonics or African American language. Like that's its own language. We do have like grammatical syntax, like we have it, it's written down, and so it gets into a gray area where you're starting to say, well, your experience isn't as valid as maybe, and it also is a generational thing, right? Like, there's definitely, like, a generational separation between what's been happening, and who knows what will happen in, like, a couple of years. And I think it's definitely important to keep the conversation in because you don't like it, and that's completely fair. That's completely valid. Just saying we also have to think about how we want to be a community. We have to keep our community and their feelings also in mind.
Right. That's how you keep that. Amen.
Preach.
Oh, God.
Okay.
All right, I need everybody to sign in. Love all of you. Thank you so much. This was an awesome conversation.
What do you need to sign?
I need you to sign in, please.
Hopefully 9 through 12.